watch performances of beauty and grace, but instead of brute strength. And in a short while, this gold medal will hang around the neck of the strongest man in the world. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Biatti, and we're back in Ljubljana, Yugoslavia, once again, this time for the World Weightlifting Championships. And today's event really should be an exciting one. It's the glamour event of weightlifting, the super heavyweights, the big boys of weightlifting. And speaking of big boys, a man who used to be on the U.S. Olympic team, as a matter of fact, in 1976, finished second, won a silver medal in the Montreal Olympics. And Bruce, you're about 70 pounds less than you were then. You look pretty good.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that.
What do we look forward to today?
We can look forward to exciting competition, and probably I think the greatest thing to look at here is the fact that you have 8 men who have totaled over 881.5 pounds, which is the equivalent of the 4-minute mile in weightlifting. You have about 5 men that have clean and jerked over 500, 7 men that have snatched over 400. So you have some very strong men, and never has there been this amount of depth on one platform.
Okay, but there is one overwhelming favorite, right?
Yeah, I would say Anatoly Pisarenko of the Soviet Union would have to be the favorite, last year's defending champion. Here we see him, 6 foot 2 inches, 270 pounds. Pisarenko currently holds the world records in this division in the snatch, the clean and jerk, and the combined total. His chief competitor will probably be Antonio Krastev of Bulgaria. Krastev is young, only 20 years of age, but he is a big man, 5'11", 309 pounds. But remember, there are several other guys here who could surprise us.
Well, you know, Bruce, I'm really looking forward to this event, but before we get into it, the format of weightlifting really isn't all that complicated, but for some of our viewers who have may not seen weightlifting, why don't you kind of go through it for us?
You have 2 lifts that are contested. First is the snatch, and the second is the clean and jerk. In the snatch, the weight is lifted in one smooth motion overhead. The second lift is the clean and jerk. First the clean, where the bar is brought to the lifter's shoulders. Then the jerk, where the bar is jerked overhead while the lifter splits his legs. He must then become motionless. Individual medals, gold, silver, and bronze, are awarded in each of the 2 lifts, but the most prestigious medals are awarded in the combined championship. The lifter's highest total in the snatch added to his highest total in the clean and jerk. A lifter is allowed 3 attempts at each type of lift. If he makes a lift, he progresses to a heavier weight for his next attempt.
Okay, Bruce, in addition to lifting a lot of very heavy weights today, there's a lot of strategy and a lot of other techniques that go into this. We'll get into that later. Right now, though, let's go to the competition.
And here he is, Bob, the defending world champion, Anatoly Pisarenko.
And this will be his first lift in the snatch competition. He'll be attempting 418 3/4 pounds, well below his world record of 446 1/4 pounds, so he's starting pretty light.
He is, but he certainly looks to be fit to me.
Well, he weighed in at 270 pounds, pretty trim for a super heavyweight. Bruce, why don't you explain some of the judging, though?
There are 3 judges. For the lifter to get credit, 2 of the 3 judges must declare the lift good.
$418 3/4 pounds, and look at that concentration. Pisarenko really wants to get off to a good start in defending this world championship. And absolutely no trouble at all for Pisarenko. And look at him just kind of shrug that off. This was nothing at all. So Pisarenko of the Soviet Union is off to a good start. The defending super heavyweight champion, Anatoly Pisarenko of the Soviet Union. He has already made 418 3/4 pounds in his first lift in the snatch. And his competition right now on the stage and ready to lift, Antonio Krastev of Bulgaria. He'll be attempting 424 1/4 pounds, which would move him into first place. This is his second lift. He's already made 407 3/4 pounds. And Bruce, he's only 5'11", yet he weighed in at 309 pounds.
Don't let his large bulk fool you into thinking he's slow. He moves extremely fast under the bar.
Okay, Bruce, he's only 20 years old, but like many of the Bulgarians, they do start lifting very young.
Tremendous thighs, tremendous hip structure. This is where his pulling power comes from.
Look at that concentration. And Bruce, as you mentioned, he's very quick and quickly overhead. 424 1/4 pounds. And for the moment, Krastev moves into first place. Let's take another look.
He pulls out of a deep position, very characteristic of Bulgarian lifters, brings the bar in close, swings it around his belly, jumps back. He has it well behind the ears, in the groove, stands up very nicely. A beautifully done lift.
And Bruce, not only has Krastev moved into first place for the moment with a lift of 424 1/4 pounds, but that is also his personal best. You know, must feel pretty good for him to be ahead of the great Pisarenko at this moment.
No doubt about that.
And coming up right now, Pavel Kek of Czechoslovakia, third lift in the snatch. He'll be attempting also 424.25 pounds, but because he only weighs 278 pounds as opposed to Krastev's 309 pounds, he would be ahead on body weight. And with no time over the bar and quickly overhead, Kek of Czechoslovakia has taken over first place. And is he happy? We have quite a competition here. And Pisarenko is definitely not used to being behind. Looks like he might be a little bit concerned. We'll be back to see if he can take over the lead again. Now for his second lift, 435.25 pounds. If he makes this, he'll be back in first place.
Intense concentration here.
Pisarenko really is built well. As a matter of fact, he used to be a Greco-Roman wrestler when he first started his athletic career, and I'll tell you, I'd hate to meet him.
This should be a pretty easy lift for him, Bob. It's 11 pounds under his world record.
24-year-old Pisarenko, defending world champion.
Tremendous athlete.
And Bruce, he has not made it.
This is a real shock to me. I'm sure it is to the Soviet camp, too.
Well, it's certainly a shock to everybody watching here. Pisarenko not used to being not only in second place, but at this moment in third place. Let's take another look.
He pulls nicely from the floor, brushes the thighs very high. Looks like he doesn't finish quite high enough at the top. He does not turn his wrist over. The bar's in bad shape, and he's a little bit slow into the bar.
Let's take another look at that, Bruce.
I think we can see it better in this position here. He pulls nicely from the floor. He doesn't finish high at the top. Okay, the wrist definitely did not turn over, and he's slow under the bar.
And Pisarenko, with only one lift left in the snatch, isn't very happy. He's got to be concerned. Pisarenko talking to his coaches.
I'm sure it came as a shock. World record holder behind here, 11 pounds under his personal best and the world record.
He could end up in third place if he misses this one.
Taking a little ammonia capsule here to kind of clear his mind up.
And here we have Krastev, who is in second place for the moment, but he has one attempt left. And the leader, Kek of Czechoslovakia, but he has already used all of his three lifts. Third lift in the snatch now for Pisarenko, 435.25 pounds. If he makes this, it'll move him back into first place. If he misses, he will be third.
Definitely some intense concentration going on here. He really has to put this away.
World record holder, Pisarenko.
Nicely.
And it looked like it almost got away from him, but it didn't. And for the moment, Pisarenko has taken over first place in the snatch. Let's take another look, Bruce.
Okay, Bob, he pretty much corrected all of his mistakes that he made on his second lift. He pulls the bar higher. He's fast under the bar. He finished his pull, as we can see here. The wrists have turned over. The bar is in the groove in good position, and he did definitely move faster under the bar. This puts him in good position to complete the lift.
Well, Bruce, he had to make it, and he did, but he's used all three lifts. Now he has to wait for Krastev to try his last one. Krastev will be moving the weight up, as we see him right here, to 440.75 pounds, and he has a chance to win the snatch and upset the great Pisarenko. To one final lift by this man, Krastev of Bulgaria, 440.75 pounds. If he makes it, he will win. If he does not make it, this man, Pisarenko, will be the winner. Krastev weighed in at 309 pounds. Has a chance to upset the great Pisarenko, who's watching backstage here on television.
Must be a feeling of desperation just sitting back there watching. He can't take another attempt.
Krastev looks like he's got it overhead, and he does. Krastev of Bulgaria has won the snatch competition and has upset the great Pisarenko. And Pisarenko doesn't look very happy back here. But this man, Krastev, at 20 years of age, has upset the great Pisarenko and won the snatch competition. What an experience and a thrill this must be for him.
It has to be to win a gold medal at that age.
And the final results of the snatch competition, the gold to Krastev, the silver medal to Pisarenko, and the bronze to Keck. And for the United States, best placing Mario Martinez in 8th place. We'll be back for the conclusion of the World Championships, the clean and jerk, and see if this surprising Bulgarian can take away Pisarenko's overall title. But now let's join Jim McKay at the Olympic Arena in Lake Placid, New York. Bob Beatty and Bruce Wilhelm back in Ljubljana, Yugoslavia for the World Weightlifting Championships Super Heavyweight Division. Coming up, the clean and jerk competition, which when combined with the results of the snatch competition, will determine the overall combined champion. Before we join the event, however, let's take a look at some outstanding world record performances by competitors in other weight classes. Poland snatched 253.5 pounds, 2.2 times his body weight. Also in the flyweight division, Stefan Leletko jerked 316.25 pounds for his new world record. Anton Kojibashev of Bulgaria totaled 617.25 pounds, 5 times his body weight. Another Bulgarian, Yanko Rusev, jerked 460.75 pounds and totaled 804.5 pounds, both for world records. And even another Bulgarian, Asen Zlatev, snatched 396.75 pounds. And even another Bulgarian, Blagoy Blagoyev, snatched 424.25 pounds. Yuri Zakharevich of the Soviet Union snatched 431 pounds for even another world record. His teammate Sergei Arakelov clean and jerked 532.5 pounds. Outstanding world record performances by these athletes. The best American performances were Ken Clark from San Francisco, California, finishing 6th in the 220-pound division. And one of America's best hopes for a medal in the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, Jeff Michaels from Chicago, Illinois. He finished 6th in the 242-pound heavyweight division. Back now for the competition in the super heavyweight division, clean and jerk competition, and we're looking at Srbanovic of Yugoslavia. He'll be attempting 451.75 pounds.
You know, he's an up-and-coming lifter from Yugoslavia, Bob. He's one of their best super heavyweights. He's expected to be at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles, 1984.
Looks like he didn't get it up there.
Looks like he might have pulled a muscle. He caught the weight a little bit off balance. Can't really tell here. We'll have to take another look at it. Obviously, he's been immobilized here.
But you know, Bruce, when you try to lift 451 pounds, it's amazing that these guys don't get injured more often.
Let's take a look at it in slow motion and see if we can figure out what happened. He gets a nice thigh brush. The weight's high. Racks it well across the shoulders. The weight comes down. It forces his elbow against his right knee. Looks like his left knee's collapsed. It could be either his knee or his leg.
And a tough break for him and his countrymen, giving him a well-deserved round of applause. Bruce, it doesn't look like it's really all that serious. It might be just a cramp.
I don't think so. It could well be. We can see he's definitely having some leg problems here, though. It is a tough break anytime you have an injury, though.
And here we have Krastev of Bulgaria back in the warm-up room getting ready for the clean and jerk competition. And Bruce, it's amazing that he leads the world champion, Pisarenko of the Soviet Union, after the snatch competition.
It certainly is, and I'm sure Pisarenko's wondering just how much he might improve his personal best in the clean and jerk here.
He does have his work cut out for him, because I'll tell you, Krastev has put a lot of pressure on him. I'm sure Pisarenko's thinking about it. Of Czechoslovakia coming out for his third and final attempt in the clean and jerk. He won the bronze medal in the snatch competition and lifted 496 pounds on his second attempt in the clean and jerk. However, he had some trouble. Bruce, why don't you explain what happened?
jerked the weight well, and as he recovers, we notice that he never really brings the weight fully under control and is kind of wiggling around. This puts a tremendous strain on the lower back. Notice how he's staggering forward. This is a good way to jam the lower back. I believe this is where he developed a problem, because we'll see as he puts the weight down, he collapses almost right with the weight, and he goes down on the floor.
Okay, now we have him out trying to lift 501.5 pounds. Third and final attempt, clean and jerk.
Nice strong pull.
And Bruce Keck really does look like he's hurt his back. He's also missed a chance to move up in the competition. Let's take a look at that last lift again, Bruce.
He has a nice pull off the floor, shrugs, goes under the weight, racks it across his shoulders well. Here's the most difficult part for him because he's such a big man. Tries to come through the sticking point. He drops the bar. It looks like he has fatigue in the back. We'll see him grab his back here in a second as he walks off. I think he just fatigued.
And getting ready to lift, Antonio Krastev of Bulgaria. This will be his second attempt in the clean and jerk competition. He's already made 496 pounds, and that's good enough to put him into the lead in the clean and jerk. And of course, we know he won the gold medal in the snatch, so he also leads for the overall. He'll be attempting 507 pounds. And Pisarenko, watching from the warm-up room on the television monitor. Krastev, 20 years old.
He's not really known as a clean and jerker, Bob. He's done a best of 507 or 508 as a junior world record. So this is really not his strongest lift in comparison to his snatch. So it'll be interesting to see if he does make any improvement here today. Notice those massive thighs, tremendous hips. Nice rack. Got the bar well shouldered here.
He only has to get it overhead.
There it is. It's a good lift.
And Krastev continues to build onto his lead. Pisarenko has to be a little bit concerned. 20-year-old from Bulgaria, having quite a world championship. He seems pretty happy. And the crowd here in Yugoslavia is waiting in anticipation for what has developed into really a super competition here, Bruce.
The finest ever.
And preparing to lift, Bohuslav Brom of Czechoslovakia. Bruce, you might explain the reason for the chalk and the shirt.
Well, a large man of this size perspires rather profusely, and the bar would slip down his shoulder, so he puts the shirt on. He also chalks against the base of the throat.
And back in the warm-up room, once again, Pisarenko just keeps lifting weights, keeps warming up for the moment that he's going to come out. He hasn't even started his lifts yet. Pisarenko, remember now, is in second place after the snatch. But now, out for his third lift, Brom of Czechoslovakia, 6 foot 5 inches, 329 pounds. He's going to be trying to lift 507 pounds.
He's got a good rack here. He's got the bar well shouldered, Bob. All he has to do now is jerk it over his head, but he's got a long way to push it. There it is. It's a big jerk. Looks like he might lose it. No, he's got it under control.
He does have it, and it moves him into second place in the clean and jerk, and also second place in the overall. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? From Czechoslovakia. And the crowd really appreciates this outstanding lifting. And here's our overall leader, Krastev of Bulgaria. He's already lifted 507 pounds. He's used up, though, 2 lifts. Pisarenko of the Soviet Union has yet to lift. Bruce, why don't you explain the strategy that's got to come into play here now?
Okay, Bob. We can use this board, which is in the warm-up area, to try to explain Krastev's strategy. This board keeps the lifters advised as to how their competitors have done in the competition. The numbers you see are obviously kilos, not pounds. Krastev is going to jump up in weight now, much higher than he would normally, in order to force Pisarenko to start at a much higher weight than he would like to. This is Krastev's only chance to put the pressure on Pisarenko.
Okay, we'll be back to see if his strategy pays off in a moment. Finally, for his first lift in the clean and jerk, 534.5 pounds. And Bruce, it looks as though Krastev's strategy maybe has paid off just a little bit at least, because he's made Pisarenko come in at a higher weight than maybe he wanted to.
That's true, Bob, but I don't think that Pisarenko will really have much problem with this weight, as he does have the world record at 569 pounds in the clean and jerk, which is considerably over this weight. However, in the heat of battle, in the head-to-head competition, you never know what's really going to take place.
Also, I doubt if anybody thought that Krastev was going to beat Pisarenko in the snatch and be in this position right now.
Least of all, Pisarenko. There's no doubt about that.
Pisarenko weighing 270 pounds. Very streamlined. Bruce, 534.5 pounds.
It's a fantastic amount of weight. This is a tremendous athlete. He's got the weight well shouldered if ever there's a way to clean it.
Picks it up like a toothpick, only to get it overhead. And he does, 534.5 pounds, and Pisarenko takes over the lead in the overall.
It's a great competition here.
Let's take another look, Bruce.
Tremendous pull off the floor. If ever there's a way to clean it, this is it. Look at the way how easy he racks the weight on his shoulders. Stands up. All he has to do now is bring the weight under control, ram it over his head.
It's amazing when you think that he's got 534 pounds just kind of sitting there on his chest.
It's like 2 NFL tackles on each arm, one on each arm.
Can't even imagine it.
Sort of shrugs it off as it's no big thing.
Just all in a day's work, huh? And now it'll be Antonio Krastev's opportunity. This will be his third and final lift in the clean and jerk competition, 534.5 pounds. The same weight just lifted by Pisarenko. However, since Krastev lifted 5.5 pounds more in the snatch, this would put him into the lead for the overall. And Bruce, his best so far, his personal best, 508 pounds, he's going to be attempting 534.5. Here's Pisarenko watching anxiously back in the warm-up room. Bruce, has he got a chance to make this?
I think he sure does. He's having the finest day of his life lifting. Set a personal record in the snatch. He's having a good day in the clean and jerk so far. Notice the stretch marks on his shoulders. You see those lines that look like little fine scratches? That's from the muscle structure growing much faster than the skin was able to accommodate. He's also sweating rather profusely.
$534.5 pounds.
He really needs to put this lift in. Put the pressure on Pisarenko.
And he's pulled it up halfway. He's got it up. He's got it up halfway. He needs only to get it overhead to take over the lead. And it looks like he's got it. It looks like he's got it, Bruce.
What a great lift. Fantastic lifting.
Krastev goes into the lead. Pisarenko sitting back here knows that he's still got his work cut out for him. Great lift. Let's take another look.
Pulls out of the position deeply, really straining, pulls the bar, moves under it well, has it shouldered. Very important, he racks it well against the throat. Notice the bar against the throat. He's fighting to come to the sticking point. This is the hardest part right here for him. He has to come to that difficult position. Moves his hands out, adjusts for the bar. All he has to do is jerk it over his head. Very nice, locks it out solidly. The bar's at arm's length, waits for the down signal. A fantastic lift.
Well, we're going to see a lot more of this youngster. And look at back there. I think he's pretty happy with that.
I would be too. Great lifting.
Some of his teammates and coaches. Well, he's moved into first place, and I'll tell you, he's put the pressure on this man, Pisarenko. The weight has now gone up to 545.5 pounds, and if he makes it, he'll win the overall and the clean and jerk competition.
One of the interesting things here, Bob, is that he didn't really have to take this large a jump, an 11-pound jump, to win. He could have taken a 5.5-pound jump and tied Krastev and won on body weight. However, in weightlifting competition, if you only take a 5.5-pound jump between your first and a second attempt, you forfeit your third attempt. Thereby, if he might possibly have missed this for some unknown reason, he would not have a chance to win the overall.
In other words, he has to take this 11-pound jump if he's going to have a chance at a third should he miss. Is that right?
That's true.
Okay, Pisarenko.
Everything depends on his lift. The pressure's on him.
Defending world champion. The new superstar of weightlifting in the world, too.
Big clean, no problem. He racks the weight, shoulders it well. All he has to do is jerk it over his head now. Rams the weight easily.
He's got it overhead. 545.5 pounds overhead. He's won the clean and jerk competition. He's won the overall competition. And did he react under pressure? But this man, Krastev, certainly has nothing to be ashamed of. And at 20 years of age, he'll be heard from. How about Pisarenko, Bruce?
Tremendous lifting by a great champion, and he really came through under the pressure put on him by Krastev. That's a sign of a real champion. We'll see a lot of him in the future, I'm sure.
And it was a great competition, and the final results of the clean and jerk, the gold to Pisarenko, the silver to Krastev, and the bronze to Braum. And the final results of the overall competition is also Pisarenko, Krastev, and Braum. Best American performance was Mario Martinez, who finished 8th. For Bruce Wilhelm, this is Bob Beatty saying so long from Ljubljana, Yugoslavia.